Hey horror fans, welcome back to Room 237, coming at you with another 80s slasher film, this time 1981's Graduation Day. Pretty big cult film, which I've never seen before. I'm very surprised. I've heard about it, I've always known about it, just never got around to getting it or seeing it. Just finished it for the first time, and I gotta say, it lived up to what I expected. It was another slasher film built around a special occasion, certain kind of group of people, and this is the track team. But it was one of those American slashers like Pieces or Prom Night or hell, even Friday the 13th, that really incorporated Giallo into it, maybe even more so than other ones. There's a black gloved killer. You don't find out who it is till the end. It points to several different people throughout the film, but then, it really is a twist, a surprise of who it is. I gotta say, I did like it. I felt at times some scenes went on too long, like the graduation dance with that whatever new wave goth punk band or whatever it was. I felt that went on too long. You got a couple good kills, but it was going on at the same time. Also, the ending, it felt like it should have ended a few times, but it just kept going. So basically, the movie opens up, there's this track meet, and you're sort of focused on this one girl. And the coach, played by Christopher George, who was in Pieces, and a few other films I think I've actually reviewed already. He's the coach, major hard ass. He's always pushing and pushing, very loud. Once she gets to the finish line, she collapses and dies. And so that's sort of what kicks everything in motion. Her older sister, who's in the Navy, returns home. She's going to sit in on the graduation on her behalf, collect her diploma and her trophies and whatnot. And just members of the track team are getting picked off one by one. And that's pretty much it. It all takes place the day before graduation, and then towards the end, it's the day of graduation. The only thing I'd ever seen of this prior to watching it just now is I have the Going to Pieces documentary, The Rise and Fall of the Slasher Film. Great documentary. Probably the best on the genre. They actually, spend a little bit of time, like, not just mentioning it, they actually talk about it a little bit. Same with Happy Birthday to Me. It's kind of one of those, it's sort of culty, but it's very popular in the genre. That's probably an obvious statement, what I just said, but anyway. It has a bit more of a story, like, you follow the characters a bit more, like, her sister, her boyfriend, the coach, the principal, and other assorted students. And, yeah, it's just kids getting killed off at and around school. The only scene I had seen, which was on the documentary, is the first victim, which is the girl jogging. You don't really see much, you just see, like, the hand go up, and then it comes down. You don't really see any blood just on the screen. Which, it's not overly gory, but it's got enough blood. It actually has some it has one death that really surprised me. It had one kill that I was like, okay, that's something I haven't seen before. But, it's still stab here, stab there. You get a decapitation, which the decapitation looked good. It looked cheap, but it looked good enough. But then they ruined it a little bit, in my opinion. Not ruined it, but I'll just say that scene. That night, there's a dance with this weird, it's like a goth rock band, but like with new wave, pop, punk, I don't know what the hell it is. And this stoner couple, slacker stoner couple, Tony and Dolores, which Dolores is played by Linnea Quigley. So you can count on her getting killed, and you can count on her being topless at some point. Because she is like the topless Jamie Lee Curtis. She's in all these 80s horror films, and she's always naked. I mean, she was the deer antler girl on Silent Night, Deadly Night. She was Trash on Return of the Living Dead. Probably her biggest role. She was in Night of the Demons, which I used to have. Don't really remember much of. I used to have Don't Go Near the Park. I didn't really like that movie. Kind of wish I still had it. Then a bunch of just really weird, purposefully, almost Ed Wood kind of horror films. Like Sorority Babes and Slimeball Bolorama or something. I don't know. So, like, I know I've been going off on tangents. But talking about the decapitation that looked cool, but then they kind of fucked up. Because he went off to piss, because, you know, they went to go have their ill-advised slasher film alone time. He went off to have a piss, been gone too long, so when she walks over, his head is hanging from a tree, and it is like Michael Myers white. It's like, dude, you just cut the head off. I mean, it's a nitpick, but it's just something I noticed. But you do have some neat shots. Like, there's another victim is this girl who does gymnastics. Her mind is elsewhere, thinking about other stuff. I forgot what it was already. But the coach is pushing her and pushing her. But it's like this slow motion scene of her doing her routine and him kind of gazing up at her. Sort of with like flashes of, it was the girl dying in the beginning. Flashes with that. I thought that juxtaposition was nice. But she gets killed in the locker room with a fencing sword. Yeah, I thought it was kind of cool. It goes in, but you see it come out the back, and when they retract it, it's like a faucet of blood. Just for like a quick second. And then, you know, probably my favorite death, because this is when I saw it and I kind of was like, whoa. And it was stylized. I like how it was stylized. It was a pole vaulter. He goes up, but we see like the little divot where they hit it so that it will stop. We see that the pole hit the ground, and we just hear him scream. And then when we see the mat he landed on, the killer put spikes all through it, so he just landed on all these spikes. I know I'm saying a lot, because first time viewing, I'm not that familiar with it. I mean, I liked it. And I also liked how it was, like, Giallo. They did a good job at the red herring, like, who could it be? You know, first they make it look like the sister, because the thing about the killer is, like Giallo's, black gloves. But this one, he has a stopwatch. He always hits the stopwatch at 30 seconds every time he kills someone. And also, he has a picture of the track team, and every time he kills a member, he takes lipstick and he X's out their faces. So, you know, 3 different characters. I'm not going to go too deep into it because, you know, I don't want to give everything away. I have been doing that a lot in my reviews. I always say spoilers, but you know, 3 characters, we see them opening a drawer or a briefcase, and we see there's always a stopwatch, but either black gloves or one character has like a drawer full of knives and a stopwatch. It's like, oh, who could it be? And yeah, it didn't have as many deaths, because on Going to Pieces, that documentary, I guess someone, if I remember correctly, someone wanted to have a kill every 10 minutes. Like, Tom Savini even made the analogy of, like, musicals. You have to have a song every so often. You have to have a kill every so often. But, yeah, it's all just building up to the end. I was surprised who the killer was. I'll say spoilers before I get to that. But, yeah, this movie was also, has pretty consistently been criticized for its poor acting, which it has. like the guy that plays the music teacher that Linnea Quigley has sex with to get a passing grade, because of course she does. There's this police officer who I think is just a campus officer. He had a lot of... I don't even remember his lines. I just thought he was a bad actor. The music teacher guy, like, who says things like, "You miserable scum," talking to kids that prank him somehow. But yeah, not much to say. It's just, I mean, I say this every time I do a slasher film. To review it, all you really talk about is the kills, but this one does have more to it. I mean, the last video I did, which was the Toolbox Murders, I mean, I had a lot to talk about. With this, the only real complaint I could have, other than the acting, would be, I feel like it should have ended multiple times, but the movie just kept going. You know, so I'm going to say spoilers here. I did think it was a solid slasher film. You know, it's a great addition to my collection. I would recommend it to any slasher fan. You know, it's not bad. So definitely check it out if you haven't seen it. But I'm saying who the killer is now, so if you haven't seen it, go watch it if you want to. If you don't care, keep watching. So they did a good job at making you think it's the coach. He gets fired because, if I remember correctly, it was because, you know, he was too hard on his kids or whatever. Yeah. So, and then in the locker room, these girls find blood, they open a locker and a body falls out. And he's standing there. So, of course, they run through the hall screaming, "It's the coach." So then the girl from the beginning, her boyfriend Kevin, goes up to him. They get in a fight. Coach runs off. And at one point, probably about an hour in, there actually is an officer, or a detective, rather, sort of getting involved because 6 kids didn't make it home last night. I was actually I forgot it all took place in one day. So I was just like, wait, who are all these 6 other kids? Dummy, you watched them. So now they all think it's the coach, but Kevin chases after him. Pretty long chase scene. Which, actually, I'll get to that. I wish I'd said that before spoilers. Anyway. So they're in the woods, and by this point, you know it's the coach. And Kevin they're sort of squaring off. That's when Kevin says he's the killer. Yes, the boyfriend. Because the coach pushed her too hard, and something about how nobody really cared about her or respected her. Something about the impression I got was maybe, you know, how some people are kind of faceless in high school. Like, they're good at stuff, but and they win awards, but they're not really respected as people, I guess. And, you know, they tussle, but the coach gets a hold of the knife. That's when the detective comes up, sees him with a knife, shoots him. Of course, Kevin goes with it. And that's when I thought, oh, it's going to be like a downbeat ending. The killer's going to get away with it. It's the coach is going to go down for it. I'm stuttering because I'm trying to talk about things I haven't thought about yet. I literally just got done watching this and I haven't seen it before. So that's where I thought it was going to end. But so then Anne goes to collect her sister's trophy. And that's when she's told that Kevin already picked it up. So she goes to Kevin's house, and in his bedroom is her sister, the girl from the beginning. Because, you know, you find out earlier that they were going to get married after graduation, like that day, I guess. And you get this chase is actually even longer. She pushes the chair, he falls out the window with her body. He chases her all the way to the school, which, this is what I wish I said for spoilers. she's running for her life, but there's like superimposed cuts of the track meet from the beginning. So it's kind of like, oh, now she's running for her life. So it's sort of, she could die running now. And, they end up under the bleachers the outside bleachers where he put all the bodies. And she pushed him into spikes, but I didn't really see the spikes. It wasn't until, I didn't know what happened until the camera's behind him and I saw the bloody spots on his back. And then, of course, you get the boo scare, like, oh, the killer's back, but it's just someone else. And then the movie ends. I know I've kind of been rambling and talking fast and not really getting too much into it. Just, I don't know. I mean, I did like the film. I enjoyed it. But, I don't really know. It's just, I have a hard time. I think it's just I've been watching a lot of slasher films lately. And I'm trying to figure out a way to not just talk about just the kills or this or that. But, it lived up to what I expected. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I, again, totally recommend it to any slasher fan. Yeah, I mean, at times it does feel like a Troma film. Actually, some shots reminded me of Slaughter High, which is not a Troma film. But like when the girl gets killed in the bathroom, the gymnastics girl, it's a POV shot of the killer, but the camera like moves with the steps, so it's kind of like a shaky cam with like the low budget quality around it, which I actually like stuff like that. But yeah, it doesn't feel like a Troma film, well, because it's not. It's just distributed by them. Yeah, that's the photo crossed off everyone's face. And yeah, conveniently, Kevin's the only one that's not crossed out. Yeah, sorry this review's sort of been all over the place. I'm just really tired, I guess. But Graduation Day, not a bad movie. Pretty solid. But for Room 237, I should probably get some sleep. Thank you.